Imagine a world without toilet paper. That was the reality for ancient Greeks. In the times of Plato and Socrates, the concept of personal hygiene was a far cry from what we are accustomed to today. When it came to answering nature's call, our ancient counterparts had to make do with quite the array of rudimentary tools. Picture scraping away with smooth stones, pottery shards, or sponges affixed to the ends of sticks. Yes, you heard it right. Sponges on sticks. These sponge sticks were not individual possessions but shared within the community, often soaked in a bucket of vinegar or salt water for a semblance of cleanliness. The hygienic implications of such practices are rather stark from our modern perspective. The ancient Greeks may have given us democracy, philosophy, and the Olympic Games, but their sanitary practices certainly leave a lot to be desired. Next up, we're diving into the world of ancient Greek beauty standards. While ancient Greeks admired beauty, their beauty rituals were far from glamorous. Their foundation wasn't a blend of minerals and oils, but a concoction of white lead and vinegar. Yes, you heard it right, the same white lead that we now know is toxic. It was mixed with vinegar to create a paste that was then applied to the face to achieve a sought-after pale complexion. Lip balm was a simpler affair, with honey being the go-to product for moisturizing lips and adding a touch of natural gloss. But what takes the cake is their face mask. The ancient Greeks believed crocodile dung had rejuvenating properties, and so they would apply it on their faces, hoping for a youthful glow. These practices might seem bizarre to us now, but to the ancient Greeks, it was all part of the pursuit of beauty. Now let's talk about their unique dining habits. Dining in ancient Greece was a social affair, but the menu might surprise you. Picture this, you're at a banquet, and the main course is dormice, stuffed and roasted. Yes, dormice, those tiny, furry creatures. And if you're not into rodents, how about some sea urchins? These spiky sea creatures were a delicacy, eaten raw and fresh from the sea. But the surprises don't stop there. In ancient Greece, a meal wasn't just about filling your belly. It was also about indulgence and excess. To make room for more delicacies, it wasn't uncommon for people to intentionally vomit during meals. A practice that might seem utterly repulsive to us was simply part of the dining experience back then. So, the next time you're enjoying a meal, be thankful you're not having to make room for second, third, or fourth helpings the ancient Greek way. Next, we'll uncover some shocking truths about the famous Olympic Games. The Olympic Games were a bloody affair, not just a display of athletic prowess. Far from our modern version of the Olympics, the ancient Games were a brutal test of strength and endurance, often pushing athletes to their absolute limits. Consider the event known as Pankration, a no-holds-barred blend of boxing and wrestling. Its name translates to all powers, and it was just as intense as it sounds. Athletes grappled with each other using every weapon at their disposal: fists, feet, and sheer willpower. The only rules? No biting, no gouging, and no mercy. Matches didn't end until one competitor was unconscious or dead. Athletes competed nude, with only a slick layer of olive oil to protect their skin from the harsh sun. Helmets, padding, safety gear, non-existent. These were men of iron, competing not for medals, but for glory and the favor of the gods. Up next, a peek into the peculiar beliefs of ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks had some strange beliefs, especially when it came to health. They believed in the concept of the four humors: blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. They thought that these four substances existed in the human body and that maintaining a balance among them was crucial for good health. So if you were feeling a bit under the weather, it might be because your black bile was acting up. Now let's switch gears to something even more peculiar: their teething remedies. Can you imagine feeding a baby a mouse pie to soothe their teething woes? Well, that's exactly what the ancient Greeks did. They believed that this bizarre concoction could alleviate the discomfort of those pesky new teeth pushing through. These practices might seem odd, even shocking to us today, but they're a testament to the ancient Greeks' attempts to understand and navigate the complex world of health and wellness. Stay tuned for more shocking facts about ancient Greece. Spartan warriors were feared and respected, but their training methods were brutal. Imagine being a 7-year-old boy in ancient Sparta. Your childhood is cut short as you're yanked from your home and plunged into the ruthless world of the Agoge, a military training regime that molds boys into hardened warriors. You're subjected to beatings to toughen you up, deprived of food to teach you resourcefulness, and stripped of warm clothing to build resilience against the elements. This Spartan education, while brutal, was extremely effective in producing warriors of remarkable strength and discipline. Endurance was the name of the game, and the Spartan boys were expected to bear pain and hardship without complaint. In essence, the Spartan way was a survival of the fittest, where only the strongest could thrive. This was the harsh reality for Spartan warriors, a truth that is often glossed over by the glamour of their renowned bravery. Now, let's reveal some surprising facts about ancient Greek fashion. Fashion in ancient Greece was not always as elegant as it seems. Let's peel back the layers of time and take a closer look. The simplicity of ancient Greek fashion might surprise you. Often, a single piece of fabric, deftly draped and fastened, served as the entirety of an outfit. This was no haute couture, but a practical solution to the Mediterranean heat. And speaking of keeping cool, underwear was virtually non-existent. It's true, the Greeks preferred to let things, shall we say, air out. Undergarments were seen as unnecessary and cumbersome. So how did they manage personal hygiene, you might wonder? Perfume. Lots and lots of perfume. Odorous concoctions of herbs, spices, and oils were used liberally to mask any unpleasant scents. So, the next time you're feeling frustrated with your wardrobe, remember the ancient Greeks and their one-piece wonders. Next, we'll explore the dark side of ancient Greek democracy. Ancient Greece is often hailed as the birthplace of democracy, but it was far from perfect. Indeed, the democratic ideals we associate with this ancient civilization were deeply flawed. Let's delve into the details. The first glaring imperfection was the exclusion of certain societal groups from the political process. Women, slaves, and foreigners were barred from voting, creating a democracy that was essentially reserved for free, native-born men. Also, there was a practice called ostracism, where citizens could vote to banish a person from the city for 10 years. While it was designed to protect the democracy from potential tyrants, it was often misused to settle personal scores or remove political rivals. The democracy of ancient Greece, then, was a complicated and often unfair system, where power was concentrated in the hands of a few, and the many were left voiceless. Our final shocking fact will reveal the disturbing truth about ancient Greek medicine. Medical practices in ancient Greece were often more harmful than helpful. Welcome to a world of medical marvels and mayhem. We're diving into the strange realm of ancient Greek medicine, where the cure could be worse than the disease. Let's start with bloodletting, a procedure that might make the modern squeamish squirm. Believe it or not, the ancient Greeks saw this as a go-to solution for a range of afflictions. They believed that draining off a portion of a patient's blood could balance the body's humors and cure everything from fever to fatigue. However, the reality was far from this optimistic view, with many patients succumbing to infections or even dying from excessive blood loss. Next on the list is the use of enemas. Yes, you heard that right. The ancient Greeks were firm believers in the power of a good cleanse. They used a concoction of water mixed with vinegar, honey, or even wine, believing that this would flush out toxins and restore health. Unfortunately, this practice often led to severe dehydration and other complications. Now, hold on to your hats for this one. Trepanation. This was a surgical procedure where a hole was drilled or scraped into the human skull. The Greeks believed this could relieve pressure on the brain and treat conditions like epilepsy, migraines, and mental disorders. But as you might guess, this risky operation often resulted in infections and, in many cases, death. And let's not forget the healing power of dreams. The ancient Greeks often turned to sleep temples, where they believed the god Asclepius would visit them in their dreams and provide a cure. Patients would sleep in these sacred places, hoping for a divine visitation that would miraculously heal them. So there you have it, 10 dirty facts about ancient Greece that might have left you shocked and awed. From bloodletting to brain drilling, ancient Greek medicine was a wild ride. It's a reminder that while we've come a long way in our understanding of health and healing, there's always more to learn from the past. Ancient Greece was a fascinating civilization, but it was far from clean and perfect. As we've delved into the murky depths of ancient Greek life, we've unearthed some surprising and at times shocking truths. From the less than hygienic living conditions to the beastly beauty standards and unusual dining practices, it's safe to say that life in ancient Greece was not for the faint-hearted. The brutal Olympic Games and bizarre beliefs shed light on the ancient Greeks' competitive spirit and deep-rooted superstitions, while the harsh reality of being a Spartan warrior and the dark side of democracy reveal a society built on power and control. And who could forget the outrageous fashion faux pas and questionable medical practices? These 10 facts have given us a glimpse into the realities of ancient Greek life, lifting the veil on the often romanticized image of this influential civilization. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the dirty history of ancient Greece. Until next time, keep exploring the hidden corners of history.